Alright, this is attempt number, I have no idea. Alright, this video is meant as a teaching aid to the presentations that I've done for AutoCAD Fusion. I am making this video or these videos because if a teacher comes along that's never used 3D modeling software, it can be kind of daunting and can be daunting for the students as well. But this video is intended for teachers, not for the students. You can share with students if you so see fit. We are going to be making a gear. This gear will have, this gear is not mathematically sound. It is just a shape that I have chosen to demonstrate certain features in Fusion. You can use this gear if you so choose to, but if you do want to make a gear, I suggest looking for actual dimensions online or looking up the math behind them online as well. But this is just to demonstrate certain features. So, anyway, let's go here, change the units. Over here, change the units, change them to inches because we're Americans. Alright, come to sketch, come to circle, come to center diameter circle. Now, as soon as you select, what you want to draw, it's going to ask you where you want to draw it. You have your front plane, your right plane, and your top plane. As far as which plane to choose, that is entirely arbitrary. There's no science behind it. The rule of thumb is to use your front plane should have your most detail. But because this is kind of used for CNC stuff, I'm choosing the XY plane. Just cause, alright? I have no reason for it. When I get more into the assemblies of things, I will demonstrate why, or I will try to explain why I'm picking what I'm picking, but it's more of an art form. Alright, so I'm going to draw a circle. I'm starting at the origin, because that just makes your life so much easier to start at the origin. With Fusion, you can draw anywhere you want to, but let's just start at the origin. Now I'm going to dimension that circle I just drew. There's several different ways of getting there. So you see here how I'm already drawing another circle. I'm just going to press the escape key. Alright, come here to sketch dimension like this. I'm going to hit escape key to get out of it, or I can hit right click, sketch, sketch dimension. And I'm going to click this here. Now, this is also intended for real world objects to be able to draw things on here in the AutoCAD Fusion and be able to bring those things into the real world. AutoCAD Fusion is very lenient with you, and is the most lenient I've ever seen as far as dimensioning. You actually don't even need the dimension. You can keep drawing. With some softwares, you have to dimension everything. But with Fusion, you don't have to dimension anything, really. But this is supposed to be a real-world thing, where an object that's drawn here in the virtual world that's taken into the real world. Real world has dimensions. So here I'm being a little bit strict with dimensions, but it makes sense as I go along as far as why. Alright? So there I draw a line that is 4 inches, or I drew a circle that is 4 inches in diameter. Now, my voice is going out, excuse me, so let me. Alright, so now, what is a gear? A gear is a circular thing that has a bunch of teeth on it, right? That is a gear. A gear is used to transfer mechanical energy from one location to another, or specifically is used to transfer torque from one location to another. Alright, and the way it does that is it has teeth on it, so we're going to draw the teeth. But before we do that, we're going to draw what's called a center line. Now, a center line is not part of your actual drawing. It is only used for reference. That's it. That's all it's used for. Alright? Now, center lines can be your best friend or your worst enemy, depending on how you use them. Alright, so now let's draw a center line. A line, so here I'm just going to pick a line, and I'm going to draw a line straight through this circle. Alright, as far as where it's at, it does not matter. It should be on the y-axis. Alright, it should be on the y-axis, and you draw it straight through. It does not matter how long it is, because it's not a real line, it's only a reference line. Now you see here, by drawing that line, I have broken the circle into two different segments here, right? So just kind of keep that in mind. So here, to turn it into a center line, and center lines are used in every single software I've ever used, so that's why I'm making a point to use them here in Fusion. So I'm going to double click on here, I'm double clicking on this line, I'm going to right click and say it's normal for construction, and I'm going to do that again. Double click on the line, right click, go down to normal for construction. You see how it turned orange. Now Fusion is very fluid in the way it handles things, which is really good. I like it, but it also has some drawbacks. So this is a center line, it's used for reference, and the thing about references is you don't want that reference to move. So again, I'm going to double click here, I'm going to right click, and I'm going to fix and unfix. And you see how this line kind of turned green once I did that. I'm going to leave this line alone because I don't want it does mess things up later if I change it. So I'm going to kind of demonstrate off to the side. Alright, this is kind of to show your students here. So I'm just going to draw an arbitrary line. Hit escape. So now you see I can move this line up and down, left or right. I can do whatever I want to with it, right? But by fixing it into one location like this, I can now not move that line. And that's what I want to happen with this reference line, because it is a reference. Alright? So now the teeth, or the tooth. I'm going to draw a tooth first, then we'll draw teeth. Alright, so come up here and then take line, or if I right click, come down here, go to line. I'm going to start here, come up here, draw a line. So 1, 2, 3. Now, I suggest that you tell them to do that and make sure that they start the circle, they start here, and they go to this line. Now, for demonstration purposes only, I would show them this, so because this comes important later. You see these little marks here, there, and there, right? Those are what's called constraints or relationships. And I'm going to show you exactly what they do. So this one indicates that it's coincident, that this line is coincident with this line. So if I click on this dot here, I can move this line along this circle, and it's going to always stay on this circle because it's coincident to it. Alright, it's not going to get off that circle no matter what I do. If I delete that relationship or that constraint, you can see I can move this, right? But because this is the tooth of the gear, I want that line attached to the circle, the base of the gear. Right, so that's what that does. That's what these little marks are. They're relationships. And if you have a really good class, you can kind of zoom in here. You see that this one actually has two relationships. It has coincident and it has perpendicular as well. All right. Now, if you're in class, doing it sometimes it's weird. Sometimes it shows coincident here. And sometimes it will show a little mark here saying that it's horizontal. I don't know why it picks different ones, but it just does. Alright, so you might see that in class. Alright, dimensions. Alright, because this thing is a real world object and it's going to exist in the real world, wow, real world, we're going to have to give this thing some dimensions. And there's also another reason why I'm giving it dimensions, because, well, you'll find out here shortly. Alright, so here you can see, because I picked this line here, it's already wanting to dimension that center line, but the length of the center line does not matter. Alright, that thing can go on and on for infinity. In this case, it does not matter. Alright, so what I did is I clicked there, and I went over here and I clicked this dot. Again, I am picking arbitrary dimensions, so I'm going to go 0.35. Alright, so now the distance between this line and this line, which is the origin, right, because I went straight through the origin, is 0.35. So this dot knows it is 0.35 inches away from the origin. Alright, and it's coincided there. Now we have to fix a few other things here. So I'm going to go ahead and dimension this line. I'm going to right click, repeat sketch dimension, come up here, I'm going to click this line, and I'm going to make it 0.15. Alright, in the slides, I think I did a little bit different numbers. Alright, so, sorry. It is midnight. I messed numbers up at midnight. Alright. So it kind of looks like we're done, right? I mean, to the untrained eye, you would say, okay, I'm done. And there's one little problem here. Alright, and the problem is if I click this line, right, I can still move this up and down. So that's telling me that this thing is not fully constrained yet, right? It's not fully constrained. So we need to set another dimension to constrain it. Alright, now there's a bunch of different ways of doing this, and I'm going to show both ways, or I'm going to show a few different ways, then I'm going to show the way I did it in the presentations. Okay, so here's one thing. You see how it's already, because I had that line selected, it's already wanting me to dimension that line again. I don't want to dimension that line. I'm going to hit escape and get out of that, and then come back, right click, repeat sketch dimension. Well, I have to deselect that line, so that line selected, if I go here, repeat sketch dimension, it already wants me to select that line, but that's not what I want. So I'm going to kind of hit escape, and then I left clicked to get out of it. Now I'm going to hit right click, repeat sketch dimension. Actually, I'm going to pick that line, well, eventually. So here, I'm going to pick here and here. So I can dimension it by putting an angle, and that does fix the problem. That will be a fixed position now. It will not be able to move. But I don't want to do angles, right? And nobody likes angles. They're just confusing. So I am going to, this is the way I told you to do it in this presentation. Let's just click this line and come out here, right? And come off to the side. Now I could dimension it this way. That's perfectly valid too. There would not be an issue. But just for our sakes, we're going to do it this way. And I'm going to go with 0.50. Alright, so now I have half a tooth. So now let's make this a whole tooth. Alright, and here comes another very powerful technique to draw because symmetry. Alright, and things, we like things that are symmetrical. We're human beings. We like things that are symmetrical. Nature likes things that are symmetrical. Well, nature likes life forms that are symmetrical, I should probably say. Except for that fly that's about to die. Come here. Oh, you get back on my side again, you did. Alright. So, but nature does like things that are symmetrical. So, we're going to make this symmetrical across this y-axis. So I'm going to come up to sketch, come down here to mirror. One thing I don't like, and every software does this, is always ask the objects first. Like, I don't like picking the objects first. I like, okay, what am I going to mirror about? Alright, this is what we're doing, we're mirroring. So where am I going to mirror about it? I could draw this line anywhere, and it will mirror about that particular location. Something like that. Alright, but here we have selected this line because it's going straight through the y-axis, and this is what we want to mirror about. So we just want to take this and flip it over there. So now I select the selection or the objects. So hit that line and then hit that line. And now you can see how it's on the other side. Alright, hit OK, and I'm done. So now I have a whole tooth. Now another reason why I did that is because this is actually pretty cool. So here I'm going to change this dimension, 0.60, and you see how it changes on this side as well. So anything I do to this side will also be done to this side. Alright, so now we have one tooth and nothing but the tooth, but now we need teeth. Alright, so we have to create some teeth all the way around it. Now we could sit here and draw every single one out, but we're engineers and we're lazy or efficient, depending on which word you want to use. So the way we're going to do that is going to come into sketch and then come to circular pattern. Now here again, it's going to ask us what do we want the circular pattern. So I'm going to select every single line here that we just drew. Select all those lines. Boom, boom. Now we come down here, it's going to ask, okay, so what's the center point and where we're going to rotate it? Well, that's going to be right there, the origin. It's another reason why I picked origin, because it's easy to rotate stuff around it. And now you see we have 3 teeth, but we need more than 3 teeth to make a gear. So in the presentation, I think I just said enter a number here. But another way of doing this is grabbing this little thing here, alright, and moving it across the circle. And you can see how it creates gears for us. Alright, so there, I'm going to go with 13. I think that's what I actually put in the presentation. So now, the important part about that was, 1, it's easier, but also 2, the distance between here, every single one of these is now equal. And that's what we want to happen. We want them to be equal. And the other cool thing about doing it the way we just did it is now if I change something here, right, it changes everything else. So let me actually demonstrate. I can change that one, but that one it might mess up my distance here. So it may or may not, I don't know, but just because it's late, I don't want to try it. So here, let's see, I'm going to go 0.10 instead. Alright, there. Change that to 0.10, and now every single thing else here is, every single other tooth is now 0.20 across because I doubled it, right? 0.10, 0.10, or 0.1, 0.1, and then so it's 0.2 all the way across. Alright, so that's one reason why I went through all that effort. Alright, so so if your design changes and your gears change or whatever, you just come back into this one drawing, you change whatever you need to, it changes everything for you, you're good to go. Go back into your assembly or go back doing whatever it was you were doing. Alright, still not quite done. So here, all of these teeth in this circle are now separate entities. Alright, we want to make them one entity, not separate entities. Alright, so it's actually a pretty easy thing to fix. You just delete the space in between here. So you delete this line which is separating it. The way to do that is go to sketch, go to trim. So sketch and trim. Alright, and then you just come through and you click all of these things here. All of these things here. Oops, messed up. Control Z, undo. And now it won't let me trim. So on the right click, repeat trim. Here, 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 there, and there. Alright. Oops, did I miss those? Where's that? No, I didn't miss it. Okay. This kind of, I think that's that diameter there is messing me up. let's see, everything one piece? Yeah, it's one piece. Alright, so now we have it all at one piece, so let's go ahead and extrude it. So I'm going to hit press pull. I went over here to modify, press pull, and now we select. Now it's going to ask us what we want to select or what we want to press pull. So I'm going to click there. Alright, now when I'm looking at it straight on, I can't see that handy dandy little arrow. Alright, unless I turn it, I can see the arrow, and then I can extend this however I want to. But because this is also going to be like a simple wooden gear, we don't want it to be all kind of crazy. Alright, so I'm just going to come here, I'm just going to set a dimension to 0.25, enter. Alright, change my orientation, now I have a gear. Alright, so now I am going to, now I want to cut some sections away, right? Because most gears you see, most gears you see have all these, little shapes here cut out. Alright, they, create some rims, if you will. So that's what we're going to go ahead and do. And then the only thing we've done really is extrude things. We do sometimes take things away from the stuff that we've created, alright? If that makes sense. Alright, and I'm going to do this two ways. I'm going to mess the first one up on purpose, and I'm going to show you what I did to mess it up, and then I'm going to show you how to fix it. Alright, so here I'm going to come. Now at this point in time, I would say let the students make their own design as far as what they want to cut out, but I would just give them the parameters of, so I'm going to pick spline. Let me show you what I'm saying. I'm going to click here. Alright, and I just messed up, but I probably didn't catch what I did, but I did mess up. And have them make it so they draw it in this quadrant, right? And then they use the circular tool to put it in all four quadrants. Make sure it's the same design in all four quadrants. And I picked spline, so I went to sketch and I went to spline. I just picked spline because it's kind of a cool little tool to use. Alright, so I'm going to start at one spot, and I'm going to make sure that I go back to the same spot I started from. And now I've created a spline. Alright, and now I can manipulate this spline all I want to. Right? But you see how I was kind of like freaking out here? Right? That's because I've actually messed up. So I'm looking at the top view. I'm looking at the top view that I just extruded out 0.25 inches. Right? But where I'm actually drawing on the bottom right here. Right? And I'm going to show you why. I'm going to show you why that happened. Alright, let me go back to my top view. And I'm going to undo what I did. Alright, so what happened was I went to here and I picked spline, and I clicked here on this part before I started drawing over here. So where I was actually drawing on the top plane again. That's where I was drawing because I clicked over here. Where you want them to draw is actually on the gear itself. So we have already extruded, well, I thought you could do it that way. We've actually extruded it 0.25 inches away from the top plane. And again, I was drawing over here where I should have been drawing over here. Alright, so now I'm going to click here so I can actually start drawing at the right spot. Actually, I don't have to go in the right spot. I'm going to hit escape, get out of it, then pick spline again. I think I'm on the right spot. I am not. I am not nowhere near on the right spot. So I'm going to delete that. I'm going to hit stop sketch. And that's something else too, because I know students mess that up. I know I did when I first started. So if they start drawing and then all of a sudden, they can't for whatever reason, or these whatnot, check their screen. They probably don't have stop sketch selected. All right, because they've either hit it or there's multiple different ways of getting out of it, and sometimes you can do it on accident. So the way to fix that is just to kind of go back in the sketch, pick what you want to draw. All right, now I'm going to pick the surface that I want to draw. Again, the first time around I picked over here, but I want to pick right here. So there. All right, and now it should not cause me any issues. All right, and again, just make sure, I would say, make sure they draw it in this quadrant, whatever it is they want to draw, and then use circular pattern to take it around. Alright, so now I've drawn my shape. I'm going to press escape, and now I can use these little lines here to manipulate it. Alright, to change it however I want to. Rotate that around. I'm trying to stay in that quadrant. So there, I'm going to move this, sure, why not, right there. Grab this, turn that. Alright, there's a, there's what I want to draw. Now, because this is for teachers, I'm going to show the way the students should do it, and I'm going to show a different way as well. So I'm going to do the exact same thing, I'm just going to do it two different ways. The first way is the way I told the students to do it. Alright, so I'm going to come up here. So now I want to mirror this, or not mirror, I want to rotate this around this, the origin. Alright, so I'm going to come sketch, I'm going to come to circular pattern. Alright, so I already have the object selected. Alright, it's already said, okay, you want to move that. So now select where I want to rotate it. Well, I don't have something selected, right? So I'm going to hit escape a few times. Click off of it. Now I'm going to come back to circular pattern. Okay. That. Then the origin. There it is. Alright, and then, it depends on, you can do it 3 or 4, but whatever. I don't think it'll let me do, it will let me do more than 4. Will it let me overlap them? It does let me overlap them. So you can get crazy with it. You can get crazy with it. But I'm going to stick with 4 for right now. Hit OK. So now I have rotated my little drawing, whatever, and I put it in all 4 quadrants. So now we're going to take material away. Alright, so I'm going to come up to modify and come down to press pull. It's going to ask me what I want to press pull. So here I'm going to select all 4 objects, and it's going to let me press or pull all 4 objects at the same time. Now, a few different ways of doing this, as always. So you can just grab this arrow, and I can extrude it out, but again, I want to cut material away. Notice how it turns blue here, red here, because I'm cutting it away. Just press enter, and I've cut it away. So that's one way of doing it. Alright, so I just hit Control Z to undo it, and to do it a slightly different way, I'm going to hit press pull. It's going to ask me what I want to press pull. Click all those, click all those. So you see here how I can bring it up or down, but it's not, it's either one or the other. You have different options over here. You can go two-sided, which I don't, because you can grab this, or you can grab this here, which is two-sided. in the presentation, I just tell the students to grab the arrow and drag it down. I can do symmetrical. So either one I do to each side is going to be the same. All right. So this is you might need this like if you're if this part is in the middle of another part, you need to cut a hole all the way through everything, right? So this would be one tool to use, but that would work. Okay. And now we have pretty much a gear, right, with a little cool design into it. Now this is another way of doing exactly what I just did, and I just discovered this too. So I'm going to hit undo, and I'm actually going to hit undo. So now I just have one thing. I'm going to hit modify, press pull, and I'm not actually going to cut this hole out first. Enter. So now I've cut the hole out first, and now you're thinking, what are you doing? You're crazy. But, well, that's true. But there's also another way of doing it. So I'm going to hit pattern, circular pattern. So now it's asking me what section. Oh, I think I hit the wrong one there. How did I do this last time? That. That. Hang on. Hit that. So what I did was I hit that line, the outside line of that. All right, and now it's going to ask me, okay, what axes that I want to do it? Do I want to create this pattern around? So if you see, if I click this one, it's not quite right. All right, or if I click this one, it's also not quite right. Right, and you see that it's kind of flipped the opposite way. I don't know if y'all can, let me see if I can. Yeah, okay. There you go. You see here, I'm rotating about what x-axis here. All right, and you see the pattern that is changing. Again, I don't want that one. I want the Z. Did I click Z? Looks like I clicked Z. Then jump this up to 4. Hit OK. There. So I've done the exact same thing 2 different ways. Let me redo that one again because I know that one. I did that one kind of fast. So create with the pattern to the circular pattern. All right. So it's going to ask me what I'm gonna come up and I didn't know. Yeah, I'm selecting this interface here. Now where do I want to create the circular pattern around? The x-axis. There, hit 4, hit OK. There, done the exact same thing 2 different ways. All right, how much time? What time am I at? 33 minutes. All right, that's my record so far. All right, so now the last thing is I haven't found the data sheet I'm going to use yet, but I will actually. I might save data sheets for later. Yeah, I will. Alright, sorry, thinking out loud. Alright, so here, I'm going to draw so we have everything. We have teeth, we have a funky little design. We're just missing a mounting hole, right? So let's do that real quick. So I'm going to do a circle, center diameter circle. I'm going to select the surface, which I'm selecting this top surface again. I'm going to kind of zoom in because these holes are generally kind of small, right? So I'm going to select here. And also, if you look at most data sheets, these dimensions here, they're always in millimeters, right? Because millimeters make a whole lot more sense. So I'm going to show you a little trick here. So here's at 0.04 inches. Right, so we set our master units to millimeters or to inches. But I'm going to say that this hole should be 6 millimeters, 6 millimeters in diameter. So if I just put 6 millimeters in there, press enter, it actually takes care of converting the dimensions to inches for us. Alright, so there, and then modify, press pull, wet, that, two-sided, or no, not two-sided, almost symmetric. There, pull that out, okay. And now we have a gear. Alright, and take this and 3D print it, or CNC it, or whatever the heck you want to do with it. But you have yourself a gear, a file, or hit save, say gear, and I have created a gear. So in review, we've created a circle, we created a center line, we introduced the concept of a center line, of mirroring, and circular pattern, and extruding. So, or not extruding, what's the word? Cutting material away. I forgot the word. It's late. But yeah, so there you go. Hope y'all enjoyed my delirium of presentations.